Alrighty guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the Ironman. Last episode we finished in this general area. We got ourselves 3 Zamorakian Hasters, converting 2 of them into different weaponry. Since the end of last video, I have learnt how to wield it, and for the very first time I'm going to equip my very first Dragon Hunter Lance. This is such a sick weapon, never used this before, don't know if it has a special. It doesn't look like it does, but I think this is going to be handy for like adamant rune dragon tasks, stuff like that, as well as the black dragons, maybe even the steels. But dragons aside, we've got another thing on the menu, that being a Muspah. I don't know what type of creature it is, but I know it's not a dragon. In any case, it needs to die, repeatedly, and I probably need to do the same thing whilst I learn how to kill it. So the goal for today will be to get ourselves a Venator bow. I don't know what kind of journey that is, I don't know how long that takes, but that's what my objective is going to be, and hopefully I can get that done before too long. But before we start fantasizing about how fast or how slow it's going to be until we get the Venator bow, we need to learn how to kill the monster first. So we're going to go into the den, die on repeat, and try and figure out a strategy that works for me. I'll see if I can find any videos that help me. My general goal is to try and brute force it with the Bofa. The quest fight seemed okay doing that, but as you probably know, after you complete a quest, the version that you kill after the fact is a little bit more stronger, at least tends to be. So I'm probably going to get humbled a little bit, but I'm going to finish up this herb run and see how badly I get destroyed in this process. There is 500 sapphire bolts ready to go. I think that should keep me in stock. I did chisel down a few more sapphire bolt tips, but I'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think these drain the prayer, so I don't have to worry about smite flicking or anything like that, because God knows mechanically I'm challenged and it's not going to happen. So I'll have the armored crossbow, I can proc the special attacks, and maybe that can burn through the soul split stage quite quickly, but I'm quietly confident this will be alright, but then again, I fully expect to be planked 1 or 2 times at the very least. Now, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to think that that icon looks a little ridiculous, but this is going to be the setup I'm going to use for now. I'll make adjustments where necessary, but it's pretty bare bones. I guess I'll probably need a teleport, that might be a good addition to include, but apart from that, I think this will be okay. But we'll see how we go. I don't know the max hit of this boss. It could be like 50 plus, so I'm going to try and save like a little bitch, because you never know when you're going to get left hooked or not. That's looking pretty good to me. Wish me luck. Once again, it is time to kill a thing, whatever it may be. Okay, we're finishing up our first kill here. I think it's safe to say it's in the bag. That was easier and harder than I thought it may be. That's a crazy looking loot pile. We'll take the ancient essence. That's a lot of cannonballs. Holy smokes. Yeah, I think this essence is what is used to create the bow, or it's to saturate the heart, also potentially to create the bow. Not entirely sure. But this thing is about to respawn. I don't exactly know what I'm doing. I need to get in position. Although I must say, preliminary kind of assessment, this boss seems pretty fun. I did learn about this safe spot, however. If you just go to the tile packs and you look for the Muspah safe spot, I think if we stand on this tile, I'll never get hit by one of those electrical clouds, which is good to know. It's so crazy that there's just one tile in this whole arena that just turns out to be safe. I definitely got hit by this the first time around. 125 HP I think it procs. I think I can get only 1 special off with this one. I didn't hit any damage, so this kill might be a little bit more hairy than the previous. Alright, so I guess that was more of a worst case scenario. I didn't have a hell of a lot of special attack, and the one spec I did get off, it didn't hit really anything at all, so yeah, that prayer kind of sequence is a bit strange. I really need the crossbow to hit, but come to think of it, I need to go grab some thralls as well. I think death charge as well as thralls would definitely help, both for getting more special attacks off, as well as just general DPS. Not gonna lie, not really sure what to do when there is an entire forest that has just spawned in the arena. I think 3kc will be the first attempt. Although I've got enough supplies from that drop just now. Maybe we can try and squeeze out one more. I want to try and get a decent amount of value for the teleports, because I really don't want to make a whole lot of them, but I kind of get the vibe that I'm gonna have to. Definitely cut that one close. That was a 4kc. I think we can improve on that, but I'm happy with that. For a boss I've never really done at all, to get 4 kills in one trip, I'll take that. I think with some aforementioned death charges and thralls, we can probably start pumping that. The only difference, or the only issue with that, I suppose, is that the extra runes that will be required to cast those spells will eat out of my food stash. So who knows, maybe 4kc might be more of a challenge with less food, but at the very least my DPS will be much higher. Alright, I feel like I always do this. Anytime thralls are getting involved, I always forget the Book of the Dead, but regardless, was a pretty clean kill. There we go, that didn't take too long before we got some Dragon Bolts. Somehow, I think 500 Mythal ones were a bit of overkill, but that's alright. Hopefully this allows me to get through the Soul Split stage a little bit faster. Just gotta make these into fully fledged Sapphire Enchanted Uber Dragon Plus Bolts. I don't want to eat my words, I'm 6 kills in, but this, I don't know man, I'm feeling the grind, I'm like happy to be at this boss, this seems pretty chill. 55 grimy toad flax. Why do herb runs when you can just kill this thing? I'm so keen for all the resources this is going to drop. I haven't really looked at its loot table, so everything like this is such a sick thing to see. Especially those cannonballs as well. Like stuff like that is really going to add up. That is definitely going to be a PB. I hear a sound. Ooh. Charged ice. Under 3 minutes. I think that's what happens. That's awesome. It's such a good thing when you like hear that little jingle. Nothing crazy for loot, but I'll take it. What is that? A frozen cache. I think these just give you another roll at the drop table, right? 3 rune plate legs, okay. Good morning. After a few kills last night, I decided to camp out at the basalt, make myself a few more telly tabs. I think I'm only sub 20kc on this boss. Let's see, Muspah. Let's see if I spell it correctly. Let's see what our official kill count is, 18. So I'm going to see how many kills I can get today. Still trying to hunt down those 5 Venator shards. Turns out they're 1 in 100, so if we go on drop rate, that's approximately 500 kills, but we'll see. Bosses in this game don't generally just give you what you want in exactly the time period that you think it will take, so we'll see how generous or how stingy the Muspah can be, but I think for the time being, I'm pretty good when it comes to telly tabs, because to be honest, it's a little bit excessive, the quantity I've just created, but I needed something AFK to do. It is so satisfying to see over 500 wines of Zammies, all from the Zammy God Wars. We didn't exactly do it for a whole long period of time, and if I need more wines, maybe that's the place I go, but I've never seen this many wines in my bank before. Normally if I see a stack like this, it's the regular wines. I'm like, oh, that can't be wine of Zammy, there's no way I have that many, but today, the dream is real. I right-click it, it says Zamarok, that's authentic wine, and I can now make myself a bunch of ranging potions. And with the upgrade from the mixology place, I also retain a lot of the secondaries as well. So even though it's, 560, whatever it may be, it's probably going to equate to even more than that due to the 10% save that you have with the goggles. A funky little boss so far. It took us 24 kills to get our first ancient icon here. We'll be using this to upgrade the ancient stuff in due time. But after we did that, obviously the combat achievements for kill count number 25 came through. And we also managed to get the achievement Essence Farmer. I think this means I got a certain amount of kills in one trip, which is good to see. In between a Muspah trip, just doing a farm run here. Absolutely insane how many snapegrass I'm getting from this one trip. It's not something I often do, but when I do, like that, imagine going to Waterbirth Island, picking those up 5 or 6 at a time and hopping worlds. That is so much time saved just getting it from the seeds. But what I think I need to do now, I'm noticing that my prayer pot supply is getting a little low. It's not turbo bad, but it is getting a little uncomfy. I'm using about 4 a trip, so I want to have just essentially endless supplies. I want my own boredom or time to kind of limit how much I do of this, not supplies. So I'm going to go over to Nada and grab all of my herbs that I've been farming over the last few weeks and turn them into their unfinished variants. Made some Sara brews already. It's nice to just have something to bank stand and do from time to time. So if I've got all my unfinished potions and the secondaries ready to go, I can just make small dints here and there. So I think it's time we grab all of the herbs in the bank, grab a bunch of vials of water, and see how much we can drop the cash stack in one game tick. I keep forgetting I have access to this desert amulet, I just never really use the thing, but if we decant over here, let's see how much damage we can do to the cash stack. Never mind, that's the wrong option. Unfinished potions, what's it gonna be? 5 mil, dude. Like, I don't know why, but it's kind of satisfying to see my cash stack get demolished. I took so long to getting it up towards 100 mil, and now watching it kind of burn is kind of satisfying. I don't know what's wrong with me or my brain. I have no answers, no further questions. I'm just realizing I didn't do any price checking, so I thought I'll grab every single unfinished potion out of my bank and do a price check of this total. Obviously, I'm an Ironman. This isn't going on the Grand Exchange. That's actually kind of insane to see 106 mil in unfinished potions. A lot of the Raynars I've gotten recently kind of just kind of going super ham now that I've got all of those new patches. But regardless, I guess that is a lot of Herblore experience banked and a pretty penny as well. I really should be making prayer pots, but you gotta admit, when Sour Brews are ready to go in the bank, it's hard to pass up that fast experience, but there is 92 Herblore. It's kinda cool, man. We're halfway to ending this skill, and this is the lowest skill that I have total, so in a lot of ways, this feels like a pretty cool accomplishment. I don't know if we unlock anything specifically, but I don't mind. Any Herblore level is great to get. I've always been scared to train this skill in the past, so to get it this high and to feel like there's so much more to go is a good feeling. Fortunately, I've only got about 130 bird's nests to go, so I'm going to be forced to switch to the prayer pots. They need to be crafted, otherwise the Muspah's not going to die for too much longer than that. So after a few more inventories, I'll get into the inevitable grind of actually making all these prayer pots. It has been complete, or more or less complete. We've got about 11 snape grass to go, but I'm going to call that done and dusted for now. All the prayer pots have been created. I don't know how many I have, but it's a lot more than I had before. The good thing about this is I can take all of these out, put them in the potion storage, and then withdraw them as a 4-dose, which kind of ups the convenience a little bit. I don't have to go to the Grand Exchange, I don't have to go to Nada. Not that either of those are difficult, but it is nice to be able to do it inside your bank. If you were wondering what this red square thingy is, this is actually inside the bank interface. You can lock or unlock slots. I just found it a little bit helpful on occasion while making my potions, but I'm going to take all of these out, get all my doses, and see how many 4 doses I've got in total. So if we simply dump it all in here, go over to this side, withdraw X, let's just go bang, get all of them. I'll probably end up putting some of them back, but that is a very healthy stash of prayer pots. There are many good moments in an Ironman account and the journey within, but getting a fresh stack of prayer pots is definitely up there. It's so good to see. That's going to last me for such a long time. Whilst attempting to do myself a birdhouse run, Runelight decided to give me some fake news, some false information, and kind of bait me on when it was actually to be completed. So whilst I tried to burn a minute or two of that kind of process wrapping up, got myself a little friend here, and he kept me company while the birdhouse got to reset. So, I don't know, I just wanted to document that cool little moment, and I think the cherry on top of the cake is that we both teleported to the crafting guild when it was all over. But outside of that, we've got our 50th kill with the Muspah, as well as a new personal best to my name. Runlight's done the classic thing where it tells you the herbs are done at a certain time, you get to the patch, and it turns out that's entirely wrong. That's alright. I got a bit of a pick-me-up here with 96 farming. 3 more levels to go. Not sure how long this is going to take, but I've been getting a lot of experience lately thanks to things like this snape grass is really coming in clutch, to be honest. You wouldn't think the humble snape grass would do too much, but it's really thrown my bank DXP out of whack because for some reason it doesn't track it. I guess because it's unpredictable, the yield outcome. They can't really track how much experience is gained. But yeah, the amount of just absolute ridiculous kind of EXP hauls I'm getting from these alone is kind of crazy. So who knows, maybe 99 farming isn't as far away as I think it might be. One more proc from the ACB would be nice. It would be very good if the special attack guaranteed a proc, but I could understand why that would potentially be quite imbalanced. It's weird, this stage can take like 10 seconds or it can take like 30. It's so like RNG dependent. Sometimes I'll flick smite when I'm not recording, but yeah, I don't know. It seems a little bit inconsistent and it's kind of the make or break period of are you going to get a good time or not, at least relative to your previous performance. But overall, I would say I'm still enjoying the boss. It's the type of boss where if I'm watching a video at the same time, I can easily get distracted and banged out. Haven't really died a whole lot, but at the same time, I'll catch, you know, a stray 50 or close to it from the magic attack every now and again. I've copped that wave attack a few times as well, but no Venator shards my name. There is KC number 100. Hopefully the RNG picks up a little bit because my primary goal, of course, is to get that Venator bow, but at the very least, we're getting lots and lots of essence to charge it for when we actually do unlock it. What is this kill time? Remind me never to do that again without a range pot. 6 minutes. I think, to be fair, even though I didn't have the range pot, I think my hits just on top of that were just absolutely dog shit. So, like, if I were to never use a ranging potion ever again, I doubt 6 minutes would be a common time that I would get. But I digress. We have our first Venator shard to our name. We need 5 of these to create the completed bow, and we're now 20% along that journey. So very nice to see that one on the grounds there. Probably admired it for a little bit too long, but hey, I was happy. Taking a little bit of a break from the Muspah at the moment. I find content like whatever it may be, whether it be Zora, Muspah, whatever, at a certain point, you just need to relax and do a bit of skilling. So putting those herbs to good use. There is 93 Herblore coming in. I think it's about time we get back and get our second shard, shall we? Surprise, surprise, trying to manifest a shard didn't work at all. But the following morning, got ourselves a dragon impling whilst doing myself a herb run. Restocking a bit of the amylase crystals here. Want to make sure we've always got stamina pots ready to go. I think we'll be sorted for a while there. But I came across a drop here that I thought was pretty insane. That being 11 Renar seeds from a single kill of this monster. This one coming up will be kill number 200. I am now sick. I've done Muspah for so long that my physical health is now declining. Only 1 shard to my name, 4 to go. I'm really hoping this doesn't go super dry, but a lot of these drops, as you've probably seen, are kind of crazy, and at the very least I'll have a bunch of essence, so once I do get the bow up and running, it'll be running for a long time. Not too many kills later, we managed to get a new PB, knocking a massive 1 second off the previous, but shortly after that, we knocked it down a further 16 seconds, and out of nowhere, we've also got below the 2-minute threshold with a new personal best of 1:52. Kind of just out of nowhere, to be honest, just good RNG all around the board. It's funny, I go to turn my recorder on, and I've just realized that when you shoot at the Muspah, it gives you extra experience. I was going to say, I was getting like 400 EXP drops, and I didn't really think too much about it. But yeah, it turns out the Muspah bloats your experience, and as a result, we've hit 40 million ranged XP, which is kind of weird. It's a lot of experience. I don't know if I've ever had more experience in a single skill than that, which is also a weird thing to think about. Like, I'm not trying to actively train my range or anything. It's just a byproduct of all these side grinds, which, to be honest, I've not done a whole lot of, and ranged isn't the only combat style that I'm using. So to have 40 mil in this shallow of a playthrough of RuneScape, I know that sounds a bit weird, the account's over a year old, but at the same time, 40 mil, dude. Back in the day, that meant so much, but I guess XP inflation or something is going on. Let's see if our little milestone gives us any luck. No, not so much. Maybe at 50 mil. We get to play a fun little game here, the game of where you guess of what's going to drop here from this kill. And the correct answer, of course, is my forehead. I still don't know what it actually dropped. Okie dokie, this will be kill number 300. We've only got, what, 7 ancient icons to our name and 1 Venator shard. One thing I will update you on is that in between kills, I've been leaving the instance if there's not things that I'm juggling on the floor. I'm noticing this cooldown of like 30 seconds to be super long, so if I'm ever like fully cleared out, there's nothing on the ground that I want, I'll pick up what I need, leave the instance and rejoin it. It kind of helps speed up the in-between of the kills. You do lose your thrall or whatever, but I think it's for the greater good. Still very much sick, so hopefully we can get some Venator shards and that'll make me feel a little better. But anyway, I'm going to get back onto the grind and hopefully this little mud snake thing actually drops me something. 379 kills for the second one. Oh my god. I wonder if that worked. It did work. Huh, there's like a task we need to smite it in 3 different ways. Turns out this lesser corruption spell is one of 3 ways. So you smite it, you've got the sapphire proc, and that's the third one, the final piece of the puzzle. Easy combat task. Wish I knew about it 395 kills ago. Kinda risked it for that kill. I was at KC399, wanted to get to 400, but there is 400 kills of the mud snake. I don't know what to call this thing. I thought I would hold myself a frozen cache. These can actually drop the shards, which I was surprised to hear. I didn't realize they could. Coal this time around, but it is a much rarer chance that you actually get the shard itself from that cache, but who knows, man. The rate that I'm getting from the boss, maybe it'll compensate in one of those treasure chests in the future, but I doubt it. 400 kills, 2 shards, ready to go. I really hope our luck improves, but I can feel myself an RNG rebound on the horizon. I think. Oh, that's the melee form. If I don't get a drop, Jagex doesn't care that I'm sick. Debatable if they give a damn with a dragon plate skirt like that. You know what, I'll take it. That's not too many kills later. Jagex, you do have a heart. Although, I still don't have one of those.
I meant to check in at the 500 kill count, but I've been actively trying to avoid recording anything for reasons you could probably understand at this point, but looking at the screenshot of what we've obtained around that 500 KC, we've only got 3 shards to our name, but I guess when I zoom out a little bit and look at the total resources that I've obtained, I guess I'm not too upset to be dry. It's obviously not desirable, but at the same time, there is some silver lining. 99 Snapdragon seeds, ridiculous. 150 Raynar seeds, also quite absurd. Got ourselves 35 U seeds as well as 84 Torstals. Now I'm doing a lot of farm runs while I'm farming this boss, so by the end of this adventure, I'm not going to have too many of these seeds left in the bank. So I'm not really going to have that dopamine hit where I just check in on a tab and there's, 300 valuable seeds. But at the same time, if I zoom out and just look at this loot tab, it's pretty self-evident that we're getting a shitload of resources that are actually quite useful. I think even all the smithing resources might be enough to get me over the edge to 99. Still not too sure on that. The runite ore in particular, in clusters of 18, is coming in clutch, and I already have a lot of adamant in my bank, so whilst we're getting more of that as well, it's not exactly necessary that I get any more from Muspah. It's mainly the rune that's super valuable. But all in all, I'm pretty much getting resources that are the most valuable to me, training skills are the most relevant, a little bit of crafting experience that I don't exactly need, but for the most part, I'm pretty much just getting Herblore and smithing XP, as well as replenishing a lot of the runes that I'm using for this journey. And needless to say, the cannonballs as well as the Dragon Bolt ammunition is also quite good as well. Quite some time ago, I decided that I'm never going to plant any Kalquat trees. They're too far out of the way, they're too annoying to get done, and I'm just going to avoid them. But I've bitten the bullet, I've started to actually plant these things, in no small part thanks to all the poison ivy seeds I had in my bank. And due to that, I've gotten quite a lot of experience from these bad boys. But there is 97 farming, I don't know what we can do with that, not a whole lot, but that's okay, only 2 levels to go. The skill is also getting quite close to that final destination point. Alright, I think it's about time we get back into the Muspah. 3 out of 5 shards simply is not enough to make a bow these days. Inflation is crazy. I will need to top up my bucket once again. 2.2k charges was not enough, and I'm sub 100 once again, so the chorescape continues. I'm gonna try and figure out how to do that without falling asleep. So after many hours of mining volcanic ash, I'm actually gonna use this to get myself a Herblore level. It's always quite surprising when these come in handy, but there is 94 Herblore. This is the level where we can actually make the extended anti-venoms, I believe. The ones with the plus or without the plus, without using ourselves a pie boost any longer. So that's a nice little quality of life. No longer need a boost for those bad boys. And I now have quite the excess of volcanic ash. It should last me quite some time. At least, here's hoping. I really just want to get back into the Muspah, get myself a shard. I don't have time to be playing around with dirt fertilizer. I think that's whatever I've got now is enough. 350, the compost bucket will double it. So that is what, 700 charges plus the 100 I've got. It should fend things off for a little bit. My tolerance to make this stuff just gets lower and lower each time I try. But like I said, I really just want to kill the Muspah. So this is going to hold things off for now. We've still got lots of resources to go. So if I'm ever in the mood, I can top that up even more. I've also come to the conclusion that I'm no longer going to use this raw moonlight antelope for anything else other than recharging my Quetzal whistle. I was kind of thinking about it, and even if they heal 30 HP, whatever it may be, it's not as good as the Sara Brew. And when I'm on the Arceus spellbook, the only way I can get to this herb patch is via a whistle teleport. So it's kind of like, do I want one good piece of food, or do I want 3 teleports to a herb patch that I wouldn't actually have access to without? And it looks like I get more than 3 teleports per piece of meat, which is interesting. Actually, maybe that's not true. I think that's probably lying to me. But yeah, I think the charges are just well worth it. And I don't think I'll have to use a lot of meat to keep this upkeep. I probably use, 5 to 10 charges a day, absolutely max. So it probably equates to what, like 17 pieces of meat a week. So, I've probably got years worth of meat in my bank. And if I really do need it for some sort of PVM content, I guess I'll still have a bit of an excess. Holy shit. I'm forgetting something. If If my Bofar decides it wants to hit this thing, this will be kill count number 600. I think the only thing that's changed, I don't know if I mentioned it before, is that if I kill the Muspah, I'll either walk out of the cave or just simply log out if there's nothing on the floor in between kills. This has helped me speed things up a little bit, but still, only 3 shards after 600 kills. A little disappointing, not gonna lie. I guess the RNG rebound, at least the very idea of that, was very much a lie. What? You can open a cache and a cache is inside. This game is so weird. Getting absolutely rinsed trying to prepare to record, but this should be 700 kills, no 4th shard. Prove me wrong, bloody thing. Those red beams, man, always bait me, but yes. 700 KC. According to the average statistics, you should be done here by about 507 kills. So I think it's fair to say we're pretty dry at this point. It has been a long day of Muspah. I've killed 162 of that thing, and not a whole lot to show for it. So, just winding down at the end of the day with some agility. It's a weird, like, I like to go through my RuneScape experience having something that's active and something that's AFK. Very strange that agility is that AFK thing for me now, but because I've been training it more and more, we're actually going to get another level. Still haven't set foot into the sepulcher, but that's okay. I'm actually kind of curious myself, like at what level will I actually try that content? But until it's my active thing of choice, it's probably going to be my AFK option. But there is 94 agility, 5 levels to go. Will I end up in sepulcher at any point? I don't even know. Oh, thank goodness, that's number 4. Starting to think these didn't exist anymore. 1 to go. I love this game. I really do. How is that a PB? I didn't even notice. I didn't even register as anything close to a PB, but I've beaten it by 5 seconds, 840 kills in. I'm so zonked out at this point, I'm just not paying attention, I suppose. In case you couldn't tell, this is the same trip as the speedrun thing, so what is that? 853? My god, it's just like a bedroom I haven't cleaned in 3 months, I apologize, but I think that's going to do me for now. I'm going to have to pick this up from where I left off tomorrow morning, I think. 853, can't even get 5 shards, good god. I've woken up in a weird mood today. For some reason, we're like 870 kills roughly into this grind, and I've kind of like woken up with 0 expectations of like actually getting the drop. It's gotten to the point where like I no longer feel like it's something that's totally feasible. I find myself getting like attached to outcomes in this game a lot, and it's kind of making me kind of reflect a little bit. By the way, I'm proccing like crazy. I can't concentrate on smite flicking while talking, so that is a much appreciated RNG moment right there. But I was kind of thinking, like, back doing the CG grind, I was like, if only I could dodge the prep phase, this grind wouldn't be so annoying. I could actually enjoy the content. And for the last few days, I've been actually really, like, stressed out trying to get this last shot. It's been really irritating me, but today something's different. Something's different in the air, and I don't have an expectation to get it. And I'm finding myself actually enjoying this. This is not like a hindsight, oh, it was good when you look back. I'm still in the thick of it right now. Everybody knows. But at the same time, I'm appreciating the kills. Like, I'm not hating what I'm doing right now. So, I guess TLDR, expectation is the enemy of enjoyment. And I don't know, it's just nice to be here. The boss is pretty chill. The loot's absolutely insane. And I think I'm going to get a lot of value out of everything that is outside of the shard itself. So, there's a lot of positives to the Muspah. But my thoughts towards CG still remains stuff doing that prep phase over and over again for 2,000 times. That's ridiculous. So not to burst the balloon that I just blew up, but this is the same day and I'm about to hit 1,000 KC. I'm not exactly enjoying this a whole lot, but I think I've done okay. Something in the realm of, 130 kills, and I haven't totally lost my mind. I just think from a pure, like, day-by-day time perspective, it's just getting a little bit silly, but there is 1,000 Muspah kills. That was not my goal for this video. My goal was not to kill 1,000 of this monster. It was simply to get 5 shards, but here we are. And the grind, it's still not over, so I need to go to bed with that knowledge and try to wake up tomorrow morning with a good mindset to keep going. But I guess that's okay, because if I look at my total loot tab by the time this grind is over, I'm sure it'll be pretty fat. It is once again the morning, which means none other than a tree run. Once we collect this trees experience, we'll get ourselves one farming level for now. One to go. 98 farming, there it is. It'll be nice to have the skill cape. I have been running from the RD monastery to a spirit tree to get to the farming guild. I know there's like a necklace you can use to teleport, but it really feels like the explorer's ring phenomenon all over again. So once we get that to 99, I'll actually be able to get there quickly and my farming runs won't feel so bad. And these days the skill cape perk exists and there's actually a benefit to the farming cape. I think I'm potentially got this on time wasted. I can't actually remember. I may have never had 99 farming in my life, but either way, it'll be a definite nice upgrade to have. And thanks to Muspah, I think I've got all the seeds that I need to make it happen. Yeah, it turns out I never got 99 farming on that account. We only got to 90, so it'll be a little bit more special. There's still a couple skill capes I've never gotten. I think agility and farming, those will be two for sure. It is finally done. That is my bow done at 1044 KC. I've just zoned out to the point where I don't even know where I am right now, but I see red, I click red, I'm happy man. I'm gonna pick up the rest of this loot and go make myself a bow that has taken me well over a week just to kill the boss to get. I'm sure there is a lot of before and afters that are absolutely wild to look at. One in particular, I almost used 13,000 Ring of Suffering charges. Like, I wonder how many KC of Muspah is purely off the recall damage alone. I'm actually not sure if that was a huge waste, but you know what? I've got the outcome I want, so I'm not too mad. Also, my Soul Rune stash has gone up quite a lot. I'll put on screen the final loot tally. It's not too dissimilar from where we were at about 1000 KC. But I was looking through the bank before and I was looking at the ancient icon. I've got a full inventory of these things now. These can be broken down to get additional essence, but considering I've already got about 800,000, I don't think I need a whole lot more than what I've got already. So, you know, if we need to break the glass for an emergency, we've got a lot of these ancient icons we can use. But the main event is, of course, these Venator shards. Still don't know why they look the way they do, but that's okay. This is a children's game. I believe I can just grab the ancient stuff and use this on an icon. This will combine these two together. Apparently not. Looks like old mate Eblis, whatever. I'll have to have a chat with this lad. But as for the Venator shards, I believe we should be able to just put these together. Beautiful. I wonder how many of these essence I can actually put into one go. Let's see, 800,000. What is the maximum we can put in? 50k. Something tells me this is going to last a while. I hope I'm not wrong, but at the very least that should last a very long time. I can't imagine there is a scenario where I have to go back to the Muspah because I run out of essence. But yeah, very keen to use this bow for sure. Things like Abyssal Demons in particular, very excited to see how that goes. Okie dokie, it feels very good to be out of that prison. Where am I going? I see mirrors. I know that's where I approximately need to go. For some reason, if you spend a lot of time in the same like area in this game, your brain just kind of gets really bored of like the scenery. So just running around in the desert, I feel like a free-range chicken right now. But Eblis, it's time to hatch an egg. I don't know what I'm saying. Hopefully this... I forgot a staff. Oh my goodness. Hopefully I can buy a staff from this guy. As much as I like to run around in the desert in this moment, ideally I don't need to go to the bank again. Man, okay, yep. I'm gonna have to go to the bank. Not too sure what this ancient signet is for, but that is no matter. Once we talk to this bloke, we'll have ourselves a upgraded ancient staff. This thing gives you a 5% increase to damage, I believe, when specifically casting ancients. In addition to this, there are some quartz upgrades I will need to get from the desert treasure to bosses. So we got the 5% ancient magic boost from the get-go. It's a nice little upgrade here. But we can improve this further with a blood or an ice quartz shadow as well as smoke. That's that final one. But yeah, the blood and the ice is the most relevant, but a very nice little Sailor Moon looking upgrade there. But of course, the main meat and potatoes of that grind is the Venator bow. So I'm going to try and get myself a Slayer task and just see how enjoyable it actually is. I believe I'll need to use rune arrows with this one, not entirely sure, don't know if it is like a bofa where you actually need ammunition or not, but I will find out all of that for myself. Moment of truth, Cal. Looks like arrows are indeed necessary. I have seen people using this bow at Iraq sites, so cannon plus Venator bow, this should be pretty decent. That is a wicked combo, the cannon and the Venator bow, that went very, very quickly indeed.
approximately 20 minutes, I suppose. We also managed to hit 20 mil Slayer XP that task, and also try out using the Araxite Venom stacks instead of the potion itself to save on some supplies. So definitely elevates the Araxites from, you know, my favorite task to even better, which is cool. But the task I'm most curious about would probably be the Abyssal Demons, so I'm going to try and get one of those. That was pretty quick. Unfortunately, 136 Abyssal Demons didn't make any dreams come true, but it was nice to test out the Venator bow, and I can confirm it is a cruisy upgrade to have. It's probably not the most efficient thing in the world, but is definitely very enjoyable to use, so I'll definitely be using that more in the future. But all of my dragon tasks have also got a little bit easier to do, especially the rune and the adamant dragon tasks. I was killing these with a bofa. I was just face tanking a shitload of damage and hoping for the best. I'd probably have to do 1 or 2 trips to get through each of them, but with the Dragon Hunter Lance, we don't have to do that anymore. But been very lucky with the tasks I've been getting over the last few days. A lot of Smoke Devils, a lot of Araxites, and Abyssal Demons are just the cherry on top, which surprisingly aren't as common. But we do have one more drop for the day. This is from an Abyssal Demons task, a superior, no less, and we're going to get ourselves a drop. What's it going to be, though? Looks like an Eternal Gem. I sincerely hope this is the first and last one that we get. I will be happy for now, but if I see another one on the floor, it'll be a different story. But I think I'll park it there. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I shall catch you in the next one.